What's the investment range to open one location?
Right now in California, I believe maybe Texas is going to be a little bit cheaper for us. In California is between 3 to 400, and that's building something from scratch. And we do have other programs that is conversions, getting an existing place and changing it to pizza guys and stuff, which probably be cheaper, but it's hard to find these days. But from scratch, brand new location between 3 to 400,000 dollars right now.
Not bad, not bad. How big's the footprint?
1,200 square feet is our sweet spot, but sometimes, we have to go all the way up to 1,600 because the location that exists, it is that size and they won't divide it. But 1,200 square feet is our sweet spot.
Is there any dining component? Or it's all takeout and delivery.
No, the 1,200, definitely not. But if you go to a 1,600, we probably put a couple of chairs in just very small dining room so people have, time to sit down and if they wanted to enjoy something at lunch or whatever, they could. But very minimal.
Okay. Well, now that you've expanded beyond California, Nevada, and now you're taking on Texas, where do you see the brand growing over the next 5 to 10 years?
So our highest countries concentration definitely is going to be in Texas. And Texas is a huge market, bigger than California, we believe. Right now, like I said, we're gonna be our opening our 100th location very soon, and we've probably maybe another 50 we can do combined Northern and Southern California. So Texas, this is going to be the highest concentration. And what I don't like to do, I don't like to jump state. Let's say you talked about Florida being very far. I think the secret to our success is the level of support that we give our franchisees. And if I jump too far out and I cannot support, then the brand is going to be diluted and maybe not supported as well. Maybe just the states around us at the beginning. So we'll be Arizona, New Mexico, let's say Seattle, Washington and Oregon, things like that.
Very smart. Slow and steady wins the race. And I bet you have some opinions about these franchises nowadays that are trying to open 40, 50, 100 locations within a year, their first year or two, because they've got these broker groups that want to just sell their pants off.
Yeah, and I heard some horror stories about these franchises and they don't give support. And as soon as they open, that's how
They
soon they
can't.
close. Yeah, so it's not good.
No, no, not at all. So, Shahpour, what's the legacy that you hope to leave with this business? You've had an incredible run over these last 40 some odd years.
Yep. So to be honest, I have friends that they always ask me when you're gonna retire, and I said, you know what, I'm enjoying the journey. The journey is what makes me happy. It's like you're having a small baby, and now the baby has grown, and now is going to college and stuff like that. I like to see the progress, and I'm enjoying the ride, and it is not the money. I think you know I'm a humble guy and enjoy what I have and stuff. I don't live a lavish life, but the thing is the enjoyment of this ride and getting this baby to a very good horizon. That's my goal and stuff like that. And I don't have, to be honest, I don't have any number in my head saying that this is where I want to be. But I think with the infrastructure that we have, with the good team that we have, sky is the limit, and we're not going to stop. We're just going to go. It's just like a river running. And
Right.
you jump in and you just keep going. But I see a lot of good things happening with our brand, and we have a lot of franchisees that believed in us and they're with us, and all the new franchisees that are coming in, we have learned from the past. The opening that we are doing, they're always breaking records, and we have more and more successful opening, and I'm amazed at these numbers that's coming out, for brand new stores and stuff like that. So we're doing a lot of right things, and I'm very proud of my team that's making it happen. And also we are very picky about the quality of our franchisees, because now we're going to be in a different territory, and we have to be careful so that we don't ruin the brand. You know what I'm saying?
Right. One of the common themes that I get from talking with some of the most successful franchisors is it was never about the money. Yes, the money comes when you do the right thing, but it was always about doing the right thing with the business, making sure that the quality is there. and magically the money shows up as a result, whereas people often do the reverse. I've never made anything work in my life when I did something for the money. It never worked for me. It sounds like you're a bit of the same.
Yeah, is exactly. Is if you don't enjoy the ride, you shouldn't be in the business. You know what I'm saying? If you only doing it for the money, you don't enjoy it. And if you don't enjoy it, you shouldn't be in the business. That's what I say. But I enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? The other day we had a food testing over here and stuff. And I said, guys, you guys, I'm on a low carb diet. I said, no, you're not. You're in the pizza business. I said, absolutely. So we jump in and we're doing all the testing and stuff like that because it is every single new product that we come in, I have my hands on it. I have
Right.
something to say about it, something for the success of that product. So for that reason, I'm heavily involved in all aspects of my business to make sure that we are going in the right direction because this was my baby. You know what I'm saying?
Shapur, your customers are growing older with you. So it makes perfect sense that as your taste will change and more importantly, dietary requirements change, your customers are also aging as well that were with you from the very beginning. So you're doing justice to all of these customers out there.
Yeah. So I'm glad you went to that point. That's the one of the other thing that is different about us is that a lot of these, especially when I was in East Coast, I remember going to these businesses and they say, "Oh yeah, this business was around for 100 years," and people line up and get something. And then I tasted, I said, nothing special about it. What's going on? Just because it was around for 100 years. So especially in California, I don't think people care about a business being around for 100 years. I think they're all into all the new flavors and new things, and especially with the Gen Z right now. You know what I'm saying? They want something new and they want something that tastes good. They can post it, it goes viral, that kind of thing and stuff like that. So we are our team, our R&D team over here at my corporate office are a lot of young people that they have the same taste as the Gen Z, and I don't know what's the next one, Gen Alpha or whatever.
Gen Alpha, yes, next.
So we have to be current. We have to be current. We cannot just say, "Oh, we've been around for 40 years." That doesn't work anymore. So we are always updated and make sure that we have the new trends, new flavor. I go to a lot of seminars and food shows and stuff like that to make sure that we are on top of the trends. We are going with the trends and we have it. And it's very difficult because sometimes the trends comes in and it dies right away. So you have to pick which one is the one that you really believe is gonna be here to stay. And that's my job. That's my job. And so far, I swear to God, I was 10 out of 10 or 20 out of 20 on this one because we do a very good job making sure we pick the right flavors, the right trend on sauce, on different things that's coming up, on the toppings, what people want, and then we go from there. Like I give you an example about like Impossible beef and stuff like that, and that was something that it was really hot, but it pretty much died down, and we didn't get on board with it. You know what I'm saying? We tried to stay out of it, immediately. So things like that.
And how has your role changed now? It sounds like so you're involved in the R&D and stay on top of the trends. Is that what you're mostly doing now with the company?
So I sit on every department's meeting. And again, having a good team, I don't have to be the one that's doing it, but I have a very good team. I'm very proud of that team, and they talk about what the plan is, and I put my 2 cents in it. And if the direction is not in the right direction, I'll tell them. And but mostly they do all the due diligence and make sure that they have the answer for every question I ask. And that's the all the other department except the R&D department, which is the very important to me. And I know how I started this business and what I want, what direction I want to go. Because in order to stay on top of the quality, you cannot get gimmicky and bring in items that are here to stay one day, but then here one day and gone the other day. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I really care about that and make sure that I have my 2 cents in that for sure, 100%.
Good for you. Well, I know getting to 100 franchises takes a village. It's a lot more than one person. So you've certainly have empowered your people. But I love again, you're offering lots of lessons for folks that are really watching or listening to this carefully. As you've grown and changed, now at 100 franchises, you've positioned yourself where you're doing what you love. Whereas sometimes as we continue to grow or I should say, not grow personally as a CEO, and we start grinding and it gets tiring and my gosh, I'm doing the same thing again and again. But you found that you know exactly what part of the business you love to do, and that's what you're focusing on. And at the same time, you've empowered the people in other departments to do what's necessary. And they're just looking for the Shahpour seal of approval, probably. But at the end of the day, you've adapted to the business.
Because if you don't empower your team members, they cannot do their job. If you want to micromanage them, it just doesn't work. I remember early days that had 3, 4, locations or something, and we had a delivery truck and stuff like that. And if they wanted to buy a tire for the truck, they have to ask me, "Hey, where do I buy the truck? Where do I buy the tires?" and stuff like that. Simple question like that. But I'm glad that we got to a point that they're making very heavy decisions and stuff, and they're making the right decisions because they are trained, as far as the path of decision making. That's what something, is like raising a child. You have to teach them manners, you have to teach them this and that, and you get them active in sports and music and all that stuff. When you do all of that stuff, they turn out pretty good kids. At least my kids did. You know what I'm saying? So our team is very dedicated, very, very able, and they make some tough decisions and they make the right decisions because, we train each other in that path.
Thank you for tuning into the Emerging Franchise Brands podcast. For additional insights, guest applications, and to stay connected, visit us at efbpodcast.com. The Emerging Franchise Brands podcast is for entertainment purposes only, and the views expressed do not necessarily represent those of Emerging Franchise Brands, its host Frank Fumey, or Emerging Franchise Group LLC. Any discussed franchise or investment opportunity requires thorough investigation, obtaining proper disclosure documents, and expert consultation before making any investment decisions. The podcast and its host do not offer professional advice or endorsements, and they hold no responsibility for actions, representations, accuracy, or consequential damages related to the podcast content.